Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Nishmas Mordechai. Welcome to all the guests. Who's a guest? Can't. Oh. You're not a guest. What's our guest? You're a guest?
Behind him's a guest.
What?
Behind him.
You're still a guest. But I said hello to you at least once this year. No. You're also not a guest. I mean, what's your name? Nachum, from Cleveland? No, not from Cleveland. From Lawrence? Harry Mayer. But you've been here before, right? Okay, wow. It's getting worse and worse, everybody. Oh, you're a guest. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? Irish is from? Wow. So Maro, you have to come sit over here. Yeah, take the seat. Get over here. And now, that guy that said to me, how come you don't make such a big deal out of Chveisvas, the YU guys that come? Half the place here is YU. Monroe is special. Come, that's Chavek. Huh? Now you're going to get thrown out of all the chidurim and ounce. It's good. Shalom Aleichem. How are you? Okay, Givaldik. Boy say, we still had coming in. By the way, if anybody did Yiskor, unfortunately, so the biggest aliyah of Yiskor, they say, is the tzedakah that you're makabel on yourself. So don't forget. Here, you can put it right over here. Jacob Dermer, $5. Givaldik kol prutum tzarefes. Lili Nishmas, Reb Elchanan Pressman ben Yeshaya, $30. We're all brothers, 13. I don't know if it's the same person, who knows? Shtickmacher. Penny, 30. Eli Greenwald, 18. Joel Samet, 30. Kalman Walkenstein, 30. David Joseph, 36. Michael Shields, 36. I know Michael Shields. I wonder if it's the same person. Yeshua Zimmerman, 18. Aaron Avadeyev, 18. Ezra Cohn, 5. David Goldstein, 18. Peter Merker, 36. Shmuel Kleiner, 30. D. Shai, 36. Avi Gombeck, 36. Pizza Biza. It's the best pizza in town, 18. Arkady Kolonagayev, something like that, 101. 101. The largest number for this list over here. Daniel Tenenbaum, 10. Avi Latova, 30. Elliot Allswing, 30. DB Investments LLC. They made a big one here. I'm not going to make fun of the $5. Barabim. DB Invest LLC. Ari Miller, 30. Jeremy Apfel, 30. Barry Sklan, 10. Why are you laughing the way I'm reading these names? Moshe Michael, Y. Michael, 30. George Gray, 36. Do the cheshbon. I think there's like $10,000 right over here. The small, 30, 36, $10,000 MDY for the year. Shkoyach Golan Ma'oid. Eli Ginot, dear Reb Eli, as a 12-year-old boy who has Baruch Hashem has what he needs, I was thinking about what and who to daven for. So I decided to daven for my parents. They should see nachas from me. And for you, Reb Eli, you should continue to have strength and energy to continue on in your important mission of making learning amazing and fun. Agit Yur. Eli Ginot. Back in the day, I think he brought like 10 people to the shir as an 11-year-old. Danny Shir, what? Who? Who's that? Akiva. Akiva, Tachlis, the yeshiva lets you do daf? Lamaisa, when just the MS, when you do something bad, you're learning the daf in the closet where nobody sees, right? It's Akiva Solway doing something wrong. Kitsi, you're not doing it. That's the bottom line? Next month. So you missed 30 daf. You have to make it up one day. Agud Yor Rebel Shlita, as once Shabbos begins to get much earlier here in the UK, I would like to watch us here on Zoom after Shabbos. I need the necessary info to join. Meeting number as well as the invite to join Zoom. So you can tell I'm not very clued up. Need some assistance. Danny, sure. P.S. The daf is still the highlight of my day. Is it hard to get on Zoom? Zoom.8min.com. Because you'll put it on the bottom. Did you sleep anything, Yosef? Like an hour. Givaldik. Shapsei Cohen, total including this one, it says 7 times in Kiddushin alone, 7 times, and 28 times in Shas, possibly the longest Masorah says Shas, he says, Rabbi Yisai, Shalom, a Gemar Toiv, just to tell you that today, in the middle of the Avodah, I had a flashback of you demonstrating the Avodah of the Kohen HaGadol, Yesher Koyach. You can see how your art efforts really pay off. A big todah on all your efforts to make the shir live. Good yah, a year of health and strength to keep us going for all of us. Besur's Toivus, Henry Rosenblatt, Lavi. To this picture or in the video? Yeah, no, it's in one of the famous videos. That I know, yeah. But this doesn't look so real. It's like, yeah. The Masechta sponsored by Lakewood families Lakewood NJ because torah and achdus are the best segula. Parnas Chodesh last month. Rochel bas Leba for Refuah Shlema everybody biyachad koroi amen. Parnas Chodesh nishmas Chaya bas Yosef. Parnas Chodesh as a zchus that our family should be blessed with health, simcha and nachas for 120. Hatzlocha the zchus Yosef Meir ben Rochel. Why are you laughing? Trying to trip me up?
Looking at my phone. That's all.
Really?
I saw him on the screen drinking.
Ah, did you see him over Yontif? I see him, he's waving. He's the one that has the big headphones. Fishel, put your hands down, please. Only the father-in-law. Fishel's also going. Benny? Yeah. Because he's working for Sukkos. And there's no slichas. Usually he came afterwards for the slichas. Okay, Shkoyer Benny. Elan, Chaim, Golan, Leiluy, nishmat, Batsheva, Chaya, Miriam. Did I say Hatzlocha, Zchut, Yosef, Meir, ben Rochel? And Leiluy, nishmat, Zechariah, ben Moshe. Parnas Hayoim, Shmuel, Eidler. Leiluy, nishmat, Imi, Mirosi, Pesel, Brocha, Bas, Reb Shmuel, HaKoyin, on the Yard side, and Shom Shanav, and Aliyah. Parnas Hayoim, Chad Kaplan, Refuah Shlema, Rina Esser, Bas Yafa Gita, and thanks to Reb Elchanan for the chizuk. The heart of the month is sponsored by Yosef ben Chaya, for all the schusim that come from supporting Limudat Torah. Rabbi Yisai, we are really all the way in the bottom of Mem Gimel Amud Beis, last line. Just to review. So it says that a person can be Mikadash's daughter, and we learned in Gitin, Naira Marasa Hiva Avi Makabel is Gita. If a girl is between the age of 12 and 12 and a half, she and her father could accept a get. And Rabbi Yehuda says, no, I argue, only the father. Okay, so we have to remember this Rabbi Yehuda for later on. Rabbi Yehuda says, it's impossible that 2 people could achieve the same kinyan for one thing. Well, she could accept the get, okay, and only her. He could accept the get, only him. But how could 2 people do the same thing? That's a shita. Now we have a shaila, what about Kiddushin? Rabbi Elchanan says, Kiddushin, only the father. Rish Lakish says, "V'yatza v'haisa." If by gerushin both she could be zoicha and the father could be zoicha, so there's no difference between a get and kiddushin. V'yatza v'haisa. It's simple to remember. Rabbi Elchanan says no. There's a big difference. Kiddushin, only the father. A get, she could be zoicha as well as the father. And now we have to understand, why does Rabbi Elchanan say such a thing? Why would you make a difference? Why would you differentiate between a kiddushin and gerushin? So the Gemara says, maybe the pshat is because gerushin, she brings herself back into the father's rishus. Remember, she's a naira hamoirasa. Naira hamoirasa means she's only engaged. If she was married, that's it. Her father never sees her again. She goes into her own rishus. But since she's only engaged, and she gets divorced, she goes right back to where she came from, into her father's domain. Until now, she's slightly out of it, because now her father, if he's made for her neder, he needs to come out to the chasim. So she almost left his domain. Now, when she gets divorced, she comes right back. Oh, it's gishmak for him. He wants her to come back. He gets the ma'asiyah dayim, everything is good. He wants full control. So therefore, he allows it, so to speak, that she should be zoichen a get and come back. Mashenkin Kiddushin, huh? I know. Chill. I'm just throwing it in. Let's have The Nakud is, I get it, but just to confuse people. Don't confuse me now. He's saying, oh, Maisi Daim he always had. I get it. Fine. So, Shkoil, that's it. That was your thing for today. Unless it's mamish a mistake. I have no idea where I was now. But
Not again.
But Gerushin. Are we holding by Gerushin? Oh, by Kiddushin. But by Kiddushin, he doesn't want her to be Zoicha because now she leaves his domain. For what? Not for Maisidayim. For Nidarim. But the point is also, like, he feels bad. She's already starting to go. You know, like your daughter goes to seminary in Eretz Yisrael. She didn't get married 100%, but she's 1 foot out the door. You know, it's like you start realizing it's almost over. So, at least for me, it was like that. I don't know if anybody ever shared that. You're all from Eretz Yisrael, so you have no idea what I'm talking about. We lived also in Eretz Yisrael. Yeah, okay. But she went to Yerushalayim, she never came back. Very maimer. Says the Gemara, how could this svara work? We have a concept called maimer. So maimer works like this. I just took not the official maimer that we have, but okay. On the bottom of the screen, it's not our typical drawing. It's Motzi Yom Kippur. We have a couple that's married. We have the 2 Baldwin brothers. These are not real people. These are fake people from Yivamis. They're based on some guys in the shir. So, 2 of them are married. Now, one of them goes bye-bye. Oops. Adios. Happens to be that the very similar guy, he sells a sroigim in Queens and he's there now. I have no clue. I called him up, Erev Yontiv, and he's like, I'm in Queens. Okay, shkoyach for letting us know. You knew about it? It's probably, he wasn't there for a few days. I didn't know that's before Yom Kippur. Okay. So you should go support him. Rabbi, support him, and if you don't, you can still see him in the hotel. Be'ez Hashem, he's going to be there. Okay, Givaldi. Maimer. What's Maimer? Maimer means that when you have a couple that's married and they don't have children and the husband goes bye-bye, so the wife falls the ibum to the brothers. Zika, we're going to talk about it actually today. Zika means there's a bond. She cannot marry anybody besides one of the brothers. They either do chalitza or yibum. What if one of the brothers goes ahead and gives her kiddushin, gives her a ring? Minat Torah, it's nothing. But Rabbanan said, there's a kiddushin. Now there's a stronger bond between those two. Now in this case, Shimon gave her a ring. He did maimer. So this Naphtali guy with the hat, he's out of the picture. Why? Because with the Rabbanan, this kiddushin over here. So if you just started with us, Masechtas Kiddushin, again, there's another daf of a lot of musagim. So the question is, I have something called maimer. And by accepting this ring from Shimon, she's removing herself, so to speak, from the father's rishus. Usnan, we learned in a brayso, could be Tanya, it says Mistam on the side. If she's a minor, she's a ktana, you need the das of the father. It says mefurish that a naira could accept kiddushin midrabanan called maimar. So what do you see? Even in a case where it's bad for the father, she could accept kiddushin. We just said, if it's good for the father, by a get it's good for the father, she could accept it. Kiddushin, it's bad for the father, she can't. And what about maimer? Maimer is also bad for the father. Eli Itmar, Hachi Itmar, Reb Yosef, Reb Chanina, top of Mem Dalin, Amud Aleph, like 5 lines down. Or Reb Yosef, Reb Chanina. My time, the Reb Elchanan Pressman. Why is Kiddushin different than Gerushin? That Kiddushin is only the father. Nupshat. Kiddushin the Medaito. Kiddushin, you need her das, you need her consent. Avi of Elohi. Since it's very strong, you can't just be Mekadosh a woman without her das. So therefore, the father's in charge, only the father. Gerushin, the Balkarcha, Gerushin is weak. In other words, you don't need her das, you don't need her consent. You can give her a get Balkarcha. Bein he, bein avia. So therefore, the father can't scream, Chaim, I'm in control. What do you mean I'm in control? You have no control here. The husband could divorce his wife regardless whether you like it or not. So Mela, there's a difference between Gerushin and Kiddushin, according to Reb Elchanan. Ask the Gemara, Hari Maimer de Medaita. Maimer, don't you need her das? It's Kiddushin. She's accepting a ring from Shimon. You need her das. If your whole svara is that Kiddushin you need das, and therefore it's only the father, not the daughter. So how come by Maimer you could give it to the daughter? Says the Gemara Hasan Maimer Bal Karcha, because it goes according to the Shita of Rebbe that you could give Maimer, you could give the Kiddushin against her will. So it fits right in. We said anything that you need her will, it's only the father. Anything that you can do Bal Karcha like you get, you don't need the father. She could also. This is Maimer. Look, you have. She's stuck here. She's mamish stuck. Her husband died. She can't marry anybody in the world besides these two people. One of the two. The Gemara is going to explain why you can do Balkarcha according to Rebbe. Rebbe, the Sanya, if you give a ring against her will, Rebbe it works. Think about it. What else can you do Balkarcha when it comes to Yibum? Yibum. The whole Yibum you can do Balkarcha. So Rebbe says, not only that, I could force her to take this ring. It's not a regular Kiddushin. My time at the Rebbe, what's the pshat? Gomer me bia di yivama, ma bia di yivama bal karcha. Take a look at this pasuk for a second. Yivama yava yaleh lekach lo yish v'yivma. It seems like bal karcha, against her will. Avachanami bal karcha. So to the Kiddushin midrabanan is also bal karcha. Rabbanan savri alfinim Kiddushin. Rabbanan hold. No. Let's learn Maimar from Kiddushin, which is so similar to. Ma Kiddushin the Medaita, just like a regular Kiddushin, regular woman in the street, you can't force her to get married, you need her consent. So too, this Maimah, which is based on, here, just as a, I know it's very, people that, you're not going to like this. I don't either so much, but Nisal said, I have to put some English in there, under the Musagim and Shas. A Yavam gives money to Yavama, she's Mekudeshes with Rabbanon. That's what Maimer means. Mekudeshes with Rabbanon if he gives her money. If there's any spelling things, go speak to my Rebbe in Reb Elchanan Pressman in Panovich. Huh?
The same line, different spelling. Yavam,
Yavam is the man. Oh, you mean Yavama? No, it is spelled different. One is, yeah, it's spelled correctly. Go back to Panovich. We saw already your math skills. You spell. Don't get involved now with the spelling. How much is 613 times 200?
120.
Now you know. I'm leaving this guy alone this year. We're going this way. It's beautiful. Rebbe says, we're talking about a Yavama. In Hilchas Yavama, you could go and force a Yavama and b'miyabim or balkarcha. So you could also do Maimer balkarcha. Or Rabban say, no. What's Maimer? Maimer is Kiddushin, giving her a ring. So let's learn the idea of giving a ring. From a regular woman, they give a ring. And just like a regular woman, you need das, so too by Yavama, you need das. Says the Gemara Chanam Yistabra. We're talking about Maimer balkarcha, the commentaries of Reb Elchanan. I'm sorry. The commentaries of Reb Elchanan. Like it's mashma exactly like Reb Elchanan said. If you see on the 3 lines down, there's in parentheses Masha'en can be Kiddushin. That's a continuation of the Brisa. That the Brisa is saying, unlike Maimer, Kiddushin is different. That what? That Kiddushin, Maimer, who accepts Maimer? The girl herself. Kiddushin is different. Kiddushin is what? Only the father. No, that's mamish what Reb Elchanan said. Reb Elchanan said Kiddushin is different than Gerushin. Only the father accepts by Kiddushin, not the girl. That's mamish in the Brisa. The Brisa says, Maimer. Let's read it. When it comes to Maimer, right, 3 lines from the top. Both she and her father could accept Maimer. Kiddushin b'derabbanan by Yavama. Masha'en came be Kiddushin, and by Kiddushin it doesn't work like that. By Kiddushin, it's only the father. No, that's exactly what Reb Elchanan said. Reb Elchanan said, by Kiddushin, only the father. What does Rosh Lakish say? V'yatzav ha'isa, both her and the father. So the Bryce is mamish like Reb Elchanan. No, so it's such a bomb raya to Reb Elchanan, it turns into a bomb kasha against Rosh Lakish. How does Rosh Lakish say? That when it comes to Kiddushin, both the father and the girl could accept it. Over here it says Mufurish in the Brisa, Masha'en can be Kiddushin only the father. Oh, Shakish, you're right. I'm not going to try to wiggle my way out of the words here. But Hamani Rabbi Yehuda that's the Rabbi Yehuda we mentioned in the beginning of this year. The Rabbi Yehuda says, that what? It's impossible to achieve one kinyan by two different people, right? If you could be kind of a house, it doesn't come to me. I'm kind of my house, you're kind of your house. How do two people, a father and a daughter, acquire one document and she becomes divorced through it? Either he does it or she does it. It's impossible, he says. Okay, so that's Shitas Reb Yehuda, this brisa, and Shelemah Yisrael. Rosh is not involved in this brisa. Says Gemara, but wait a minute. If it's Reb Yehuda, Mashen can be Kiddushin. So then what's the lashon here? Mashen can be Kiddushin. It's a good lashon, but I have a much better lashon. It should say Mashen can be Gerushin. By Gerushin, if it's Reb Yehuda, what does Reb Yehuda say again? Reb Yehuda says two people cannot achieve one thing. So he said by Kiddushin, two people can't do one thing. Who's Makabel the Kiddushin? Only the father. Can't be the girl also, because only one person. You know what you should say? By Maimer. We said Maimer, the father and the daughter accept it. And what should you say? But what's different than Maimer? The Bryce is Kiddushin. I'll tell you something even stronger. Even Gerushin, only one could accept. Only the father could accept. It's a much bigger Chiddush. Even though it's Bal Karchach, get is Bal Karchach, so I would think that the girl could also accept it. Even a get is different than Maimer. Only the father could accept it. You're right. Kiddushin, only the father can accept it. But if I want to say a Chiddush, if I want to, what's the word? It just slipped my mind. If I want to contrast, yeah? If I want to contrast a Maimer to something else, the biggest nafkamin in the world would be a get, not Kiddushin. Because get is something that two people should be able to do. Nevertheless, only the father could. Maimer, two people could do it. So it's different. So, you're right. It's a good kasha. And it should have said Gerushin. I did. Okay, so I said something, I contrasted with Kiddushin because Kiddushin is the most similar to Maimer. What's Maimer? Maimer is Kiddushin. Maimer is Kiddushin to Yavama. So I want to say, a regular Kiddushin, only a father could accept. This interesting Kiddushin by Yavama, the girl could also accept it. Rabbi Yehuda, Maishna Maimer. Why? According to Rabbi Yehuda, that says, Ein Shnei Yodayim Zoiches Ke'echos, right? Rabbi Yehuda says, a svara, logic. How is it possible that two people can make the same kinyan? Be both kinda a divorce, be both kinda a ring. Either she could or he could, but not both. So why is Maimer different? Why is Maimer a kinyan that if the woman is Makabel, the Kiddushin, she becomes Mekudeshes b'Maimer to that Yavam, and if the father is Makabel, she's talking about a girl, not a woman, a girl, then the father could do it. How's it possible? Says Gemara, so over here, this is a famous Yisod in Shas, and we said it a few times, but it's Kedai Nachamal, Zika. Zika means that when this woman or a girl, her husband dies and they don't have children, so she becomes bond, she becomes Zkuka to the Yavam. What does it mean? She's semi-married, not married, because if there's 10 brothers, right, she's attached, not married. There's attachment. In other words, she cannot go and marry whoever she wants. She can only marry one of the brothers. Oh, so since there's a certain attachment, to finish off the attachment, to accept the ring from one of the brothers, all I'm doing is finishing the process. It already started, so that also a girl could accept such a Kiddushin. You don't need the father. Typically, she's on her own, she's completely single, and she wants to accept Kiddushin, she can't. You need the father. But over here, she's not single. She's attached and she's bond to one of these guys. So Mela, if one of them gives a Kiddushin, it's chal, even if not to the father, to the girl herself. So Hashadas is lachi. Once we said this chiddush, we brought up the magic word, skuka, on the bottom of Amud Beis, as we're starting today. You asked me a kasha. How can you make an nafkamina between something that you said, there's an nafkamina going into the father's rishus, coming out of the father's rishus, the father's maskim, he wants the daughter to accept the get because she comes back into his rishus, but not Kiddushin. And the Gemara asks a question from Maimer. Well, Maimer is very different. It's not a kasha b'chalal. Maimer, the reason why she could accept it is because she's semi-attached to him. Fine. Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah. First Mishnah of the parak. The only Mishnah we learned so far in this parak. A man, a father, could be Mekadesh's daughter when she's already 12 years old. He accepts the ring, or he could send out a shlich to accept it. But it doesn't say in the Mishnah anything that she could do it. To the Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish says, for Yatzav Haisa. Just like by a get, she could accept, everybody agrees, we said according to Rabbanan at least, not Reb Yehuda, according to Rabbanan, she could accept the get, the father could accept the get, so there's no difference between Kiddushin and Gerushin. Kiddushin also, she could accept. But it seems like from the Mishnah, no, only the father could accept Kiddushin, not the daughter. Our Mishnah goes according to Reb Yehuda. What does Reb Yehuda say? It's impossible for somebody to be zoicha in two things. Okay, so I think Gemara just shows how can you stick in a Tana, say the first part, our Mishnah, by the way, if you look in the Mishnayos, so the Mishnah on Daf Mem Vav is the same Mishnah as Daf, the beginning of Eish Mekadosh, what's Mem Beis? No, Mem Aleph. Mem Aleph. It's one long Mishnah. In Vilna, they divided it. So the Gemara says, but wait a minute. The second part of the Mishnah, if a man gives a woman 2 dates, the fruit, date, he says, take this date, become a kudeshes. Take this date, become a kudeshes. Did he just divide the 2 dates? In other words, if the 2 dates together equal a shava pruta, it should work. She should become a kudeshes. But since he divided it, he says, Hared Mikudeshes with this date, Hared Mikudeshes with this date, did it divide it or not? That's the Nidan in the next Mishnah. Shimon says, the Omar, then what? If a person took 5 pigdainos from 5 people, he took, how do you say picadin in English? Collateral. 5 collaterals from 5 different people. And he lied to them. He said, I don't know who you are. I never took from you. And he made a shvuah. He said, I swear that I didn't take from you these pigdainas. So on anytime you have an individual shvuah that's false on a picadin, you have to pay chaimish. But now, he said one shvuah to 5 people. Could we be chayiv him 5 times? So it says, he has to say shvuah to you, shvuah to you, shvuah to you. Each time he has to say the word shvuah again, and then he's chayiv 5 times. So Mela, this also, without getting involved too much in the details, we're trying to prove one point, that a Mem Vav is Reb Shimon, so Mela Mem Aleph is also Reb Shimon. How do I know Mem Vav is Reb Shimon? Because Reb Shimon holds, they have to say shvuah kol echad. So also you have to say iskachi. If you say iskachi once, iskachi twice, it divides everything. Just like by shvuah you have to make 2 yechayiv twice, so too by Kiddushin it's considered 2 Kiddushins. You can't be mitzvah the 2 dates together and say, oh, you have a shava pruta. It's not a shava pruta. Because we just established, we have a kasha and Shlakish. We said it's not a kasha because the whole mission is going to go according to Reb Yehuda that says, Ein shtei yadayim zeches kachas. It can't be Reb Yehuda, it's Reb Shimon. If it's Reb Shimon, it can't be Reb Yehuda. How do you know it's Reb Shimon? Because when it comes to the dates, it has to be Reb Shimon. The end of the mission is Reb Shimon, the beginning is Reb Shimon. So don't tell me it's Reb Yehuda. And each and every one. And so you say no. The entire Mishnah is Reb Yehuda. Reb Yehuda himself holds like Reb Shimon when it comes to a guy saying Hared Mikudeshes, it splits it, he'll say the same thing by Shvuah. This is the rule. Kolal, if he put everybody together one Shvuah in a Chayav Elachas. If he told everybody, you see, you 5, I took your pigdainas, I'm making a shvuah, I didn't take any pigdainas. That's one shvuah for 5. How many korbanos does he bring? 1. Parat, but if he looked at each one and he said, to you, chayav kolachas v'achas, the Reb Meir. Exactly where Meir Shita is, we're not going to get into it. Reb Yehuda Omer, shvuah, loylecha, chayav kolachas v'achas. Notice, Reb Yehuda doesn't say the word shvuah 5 times. He says loylecha 5 times. He puts the word shvuah in the beginning, and he says, Leilucha. Now we're going to have another shita. Leilucha, shvuah at the end. 1 shita. That's also considered 5. Reb Shimon is of the opinion, you need to say 5 times the word shvuah. Shvuah lecha, Shvuah lecha. Then you chayav 5 korbanos. Upon him, Reb Yehuda and Reb Shimon say 2 different things. Reb Yehuda says all you need to do is say Shvuah once. Reb Shimon says you have to say Shvuah 5 times. Is there a disagreement between Reb Yehuda and Reb Shimon? Absolutely. So you can't say that our Mishnah is Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda. The Mishnah is either Reb Shimon or it's Reb Yehuda. It doesn't make sense to say that the Reisha is Reb Yehuda and the Seif is Reb Shimon. It's either or. That's the case. I'm going to go back and I'm going to have a problem with Rish Lakish. How does he answer our Mishnah? So again, Reb Yehuda Omer Shvuah Leiluy Leiluy. All you need to say is Shvuah once, and you say Leiluy Leiluy. Chaim Galach Zachas. Reb Elazar Omer Leiluy 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 Shvuah. He says the word Shvuah at the end. Chayav 5 korbanos. Chaim Galach Zachas. Reb Shimon Omer. Reb Shimon argues in Reb Yehuda Leiluy Chayav Atchi Omer Shvuah Lekalecha Be'achad. You have to say Shvuah Lecha, Shvuah Lecha, then you Chayav 5 korbanos. So Mela, you can't say that our Mishnah is Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda. Says Gemara El Kula Reb Shimoni. No. At the end of the day, our Mishnah is Reb Shimon, fits in at the end of the Mishnah. That what? When it comes to a date, and he says Hiskachi with this date, Hiskachi with this date, that's Mamish, the sheet is Reb Shimon. You have to say Shvuah, Shvuah, Shvuah. Hiskachi, 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 breaks it up. No, and what about the Reisha? It's not Shitas Reb Yehuda, just Reb Shimon holds like Reb Yehuda. Before we wanted to say it's Reb Yehuda who holds like Reb Shimon, we said that can't work. And now we're saying it's Reb Shimon who holds like Reb Yehuda. So again, we asked the question from our Mishnah is mashma not like Rish Lakish. So Rish Lakish says no, it goes like Reb Yehuda. What he meant to say, it goes like Reb Shimon, who holds like Reb Yehuda. That what? That ein shnei yadayim zechis kachas. You cannot have 2 human beings achieve the same kinyan. To receive a get, to receive Kiddushin, or a get, that she could do it and the father could do it, it's impossible. Rabasi says the Gemara Maisa. Rabasi lo yola bein midrasha. Rabasi didn't come to Beis Medrash. Ashkech le Reb Zera bumped into Reb Zera. Omalei, my omer idna b'mei midrasha. I missed it. I'm sorry, I missed it. I had a stomach virus like me. Yeah, I don't want anybody. Nobody sent me an email yet, but because that woman emailed, I said daven for me on Rosh Hashanah. So somebody said, "Oh, Yvei, is something wrong with him?" No. So I was a very simple stomach virus on over Yontev. Akash Baruch Hu Mamish Rachmanas. After it was like during Shir on Erev Yom Kippur, it was already coming in. Akash Baruch saved me. I had the whole Erev Yom Kippur and Yom Kippur night and Baruch Hashem. That was it. So it didn't cost any shiurim. Baruch Hashem. Upon him. The tefillah, I hope we didn't waste it on that, but okay, yeah, it was also a big one. What are they saying in the Beis Medrash? What did I miss? You know what? I also didn't come. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like Yom Kippur. I don't know. Yom Kippur night. But you know the Beis Medrash was packed last night. Packed. Rabbi Oven Hudayel. Rabbi Oven went. V'omar. And this is what he said. This is what Reb Oven said. There was a mashayla here. Is Kiddushin different than Gerushin? Reb Elchanan made a distinction. He said Kiddushin is different. Kiddushin, just the father could accept it. Gerushin, both the father. The whole yeshiva said, Halacha is like Reb Elchanan. Utzavach Rish Lakish ki kruchya. And Rish Lakish screamed like this crane. Now, turn off for a second because I need to put this on privately here. When I was in South Africa, there was a bird I was by Leon Welcher's house. I couldn't believe it. First I thought a kid was crying. And then I realized this is a bird. Only in South Africa. You never heard something like this? Only in Johannesburg? England, Hazel, in Johannesburg. Be'emes? Maisa Shaya. The whole time. Check this is, what is it called? Hadida Badi? What? Hadida? No, Hadida. Shkoilo, I told you, that's it. Here we go. This is what it sounds like in your bedroom. Enjoy. This is not a crow. 20 times louder. The whole morning. Okay, you got the idea. What happened there? That was a mistake on my computer. Okay, tzedek upon him. No, show. It's part of the thing. Okay, so I'm just saying, I don't know what a crane sounds like, but it looks like from the family of cranes. I threw it in there. Maybe. No, Reb Shlokish is screaming. He's screaming like a crane. He's on top of his lungs. How can it be? What are you saying? Whatever the halacha is by gerushin, that's the halacha by kiddushin. If a woman could accept, the girl could accept her get, and her father could accept her get, so the girl could accept her kiddushin, and the father could accept her kiddushin. How can you differentiate between kiddushin? Nobody cared. Could you rely on Reb Elchanan that this is what happened to Beis Medrash? By the way, Stamazoi, before we go into this, I was just wondering today out loud, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Is there anything in the world, any group of people in the world that sounds anything remotely similar to a bunch of yeshiva guys screaming and learning? Is there such a thing? Like a bunch of lawyers getting in a room, like in law school. There's I don't know if you guys know, not everybody knows, but there's something called the Shuk HaChavrusas. It's like the first day of the Zman, or the last day of the Zman. Huh? Chavrusa Tumul. And yeah, it's usually in Eretz Yisrael. It's nervy, and people are running and screaming and coming. A guy that wasn't so familiar with the whole Chavrusa Tumul walks into Panovich, and he doesn't know what's people. It's not just yelling. It's like they're moving, coming, and going, and three people around one guy. And the Mitsuini, the yeshiva, there's 25 guys, and they're fighting over it. So he said, "What is going on here?" So one of the Litzanim, he saw that he was confused. So he said out loud to his friend, says, "Can you imagine just one kasha on the Rambam? This is what happens over here." Like, what? One kasha? Unbelievable. I go, no, seriously. I don't know where in the world you have such a thing. That guy starts screaming, "V'yatzava, Yisrael." Okay, fine. What happened? Could you rely on Reb Elchanan? It says, you could rely on him. It's like a fish that came out of the water and you put it in a frying pan. Says Rashi, look at the last line of Rashi. Tignei, fries. Freeze it. You fry it. You fry it in oil, says Rashi. So why do I want to show you this picture? This is before I was a Maggid Shir. I lived here in Israel right when I moved there. So some of the Chaver here in Batsheva said, "Let's go fishing." Okay, we'll go fishing. So we went out. We rented this boat and we went over an hour off the coast of, I don't remember what it is. One of the coasts here in Israel. You go, and we caught these tuna. It's unbelievable. We caught the tuna. So on the boat, the Arab thing. The tuna is still moving. He takes a knife. He made like a triangle, and he pokes it, and he gives it to me to eat. But the Elan was eating it, so I also ate it. He said sushi. It's talking very gross, but the tuna tasted amazing. Mamish, one of the best fish I ever had in my life. The thing is, we took it home like this, and then I gave it to my wife. She said, she had no idea. How do you skin it, and how do you take? So I went to the fish store. He said, "Get out of here! You buy it from me. That's one thing, you know." So he said, "I had to find the guy that knew how to do it." He looked up on YouTube. It's mahalach. Okay, fine. So it's if you have 4 or 5 extra hours in your life, they have nothing better to do, and you can't bring a Gemara over there either. You go fishing off the coast of Eretz Yisrael. What? Those are not shorts. Those are long pants. No. It's under. I don't know what. You mean I should have put that thing? Let's get this picture off quickly. People are gonna. Do not make that your poster for sukkahs or whatever. Okay. Here he goes. I don't know who you're talking about. Who's this Reb Elchanan? Is it Reb Elchanan? No. It's not that one. Ella Reb Elchanan Stam. You didn't say who he is. So who cares exactly what his name is? So you could ask questions and steers from one another. I don't know who he is. If he said it's Reb Elchanan Bar Kahana, and now over here it's Reb Elchanan, and he said something different, that's good. But now it's a plain Reb Elchanan, so we can't really ask any questions. Daf Yomi Amud sponsored for all those who need a Refuah Shlema, and by innovations in honor of my uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman and his zchut for year filled with mazal bracha Hatzlocha and baras berevach for all of MDY family. So we established, according to everybody, when it comes to get, both the father, not rebuted, but in Chachamim, the father and the girl accept the get. But what about Maush Tasas Shliach? She could accept her own get. But could she tell somebody else? Is she so strong, like a regular woman, who could tell somebody else to get a get? What's the shaila? Is it an extension of the father's hand? Is she only like the yard of the father? The Gemara explains, just like the father could go ahead and make a shliach, so she's mamish an extension of the father, so whatever the father could do, she could do. No, she's only like the chatzar. A chatzar means it's a property of the father, but when it goes into the property, then she becomes megureshes, like a regular chatzar of a woman, but the chatzar doesn't have a right to go and appoint a shliach. Says Gemara, is that even a question to Rav? Rav asks his Rebbe Reb Nachman, right? Gemara says, why is he asking such a question? We know it's somewhere else. Here's the picture. You have a Eved with a get. You see the get in his hand, and his teddy bear in his hand, everything. And the woman is on the fence over there. She's watching him. Harei ze get. Then it's a good get. But if the Eved is awake and a get, why? Because yes, it's a chatzar. He belongs to her, but it has a mind of its own. It's not a good chatzar that's being watched. And if this girl has a halacha like a chatzar, so she shouldn't be any different than an Eved. An Eved that's up. Why is that a good chatzar? It's a terrible chatzar. It's a chatzar that walks around, loses things. It's not a good chatzar. No, of course, it was pasha that a girl doesn't act as her father's chatzar. She acts as the extension of her father's hand. But the question is, yes, extension. The father has a long hand, but who says that the hand has enough das in it to appoint another? If the hand all of a sudden appoints a shliach, that's not good. You need the head. You need the das of the father to do, not the hand. So his Rebbe Reb Nachman answers him, no, she cannot do it. She's an extension, but the extension nevertheless needs das. Shach is another 25. No, I'm just kidding. In a few minutes. Shalom Aleichem. If a girl, the daughter says, I want you to accept the get from me, and you get that she get liyada has to come to her hand. Honaira, it's mashma. Harez a get. Aktana is not a get. Mashma, you can be medayik that a naira yes. Yes. If the naira doesn't have a father, so whose rishus is she? She just acquired herself. Her father's gone. And that's why it works. As the Gemara, this is a very simple one. Very, very simple, obvious sugya. Look, it can't be that she doesn't have a father. The Seifa says she doesn't. Similar to what we said before. If the Seifa is Reb Shimon, the Reish has to be Reb Shimon. If the Seifa is talking about that she has a father, the Reish also talks about that she has a father. And what's the Gemara's answer? No. The Reish, she doesn't have a father. The Seifa, she does. Imam Aravi get libiti. Talking about the whole thing is talking about a father. Says the Gemara, okay, no. You have to just stick in a couple words. In other words, what does chasuri mechser mean? Chasuri mechser means everybody that understands. If you have enough knowledge in Gemara, you know that we're talking about two different cases. Why? And you get that she get liyada. If a ketana says, go ahead, accept my get, it's nothing. Honaira is a get, it's a get. The Reish is talking about she doesn't have a father. Should we just do a few more lines? I know we're late, but we started late. You're right. There's no slichas, so we have a few more minutes. Itmar! He's just a record. He's not even here today, but it's just his record. We'll just do a few more lines. Bemis. Aktana, without asking rishus from her father, we want to know, does it have any sort of something? Does it chap on at all? She's a ktana. She went ahead, accepted Kiddushin without her father. Yeah, there's all these mices in camp. This little girl, she pretended she's Kiddushin, but she's a ktana. Amar Shmuel tzricha ged tzricha miyun. So Shmuel seems like a contradiction, but he's right. That what? Not only does she need a get, she also has to do miyun. What's miyun, Rabbi Isai? Huh? Refusal. Oh, okay. You should do the English subtitles. When a girl whose mother and brother are mekadesher, she has a right to refuse the kiddushin at any time just by saying, "I don't want to be married." Not when the father does it, because when the father's mekadesher, it's doiraisa. In this case, right, before she's a begaris. In this case, she has a father. She accepted kiddushin without her father's das. She needs to do miyun. Never heard of that. There's a big problem here. Why? What's going on here? If a get works, you don't need miyun. If miyun works, then if it's the rabbanan, what do you need to get? If it's the raisa, and you need to get, so what does miyun work? You know what? Go ask the question over there. It's a givaldik bezin, they'll answer you. Lamaisa, for whatever reason, doesn't say what. They took this and flipped it over. Yeah? Like I used to do to my chavrusa. You pretend it's a shayla halach if you're allowed to do. I think I remember once we had the sugya. No, I know why they flipped it. They flipped it because Rav was good friends with Shmuel and they wanted to see if he's going to be biased. So they took the sheet of Shmuel and they pretend it's a sheet of Karna. They took the sheet of Karna, but Shmuel says you need both, a get and miyun. They said they sent to Rav. No, you only need one. So what happens? So what's going on here? Shmuel's wrong. Why would Shmuel say you only need one? You need both. Now the Gemara says, how could that be? Maybe it's a Kiddushin doiraisa. The father heard about it. He didn't say anything, but he liked it. He wanted her to get engaged. What happens if the father didn't want the Kiddushin? So she was never engaged. Never engaged. This guy goes, he realizes that it's not a good idea to go with this sister, he goes with another sister. Is the Kiddushin good with the second sister? Absolutely. It's a good Kiddushin, because the father didn't care about the first Kiddushin. First Kiddushin, first daughter, Rochel, 0. And then he goes and he's Mekadesh Leah, works on Leah. But people are going to think that she doesn't need anything. We need to show people that there's a big problem, that the second daughter, Leah, needs a get here. That's very possible that the father didn't accept the Kiddushin, and the first daughter was never Mekudeshes. Don't make a joke out of the second Kiddushin, because if you do, people might marry her, but she happens to be Eishes Ish. She's married, she's Mekudeshes to this guy that was Mekadesh 2 sisters. The first sister didn't happen. The second sister was a perfect Kiddushin, so she's engaged to the second sister. Now she's going to go and marry anybody she wants. So we're going to go like this. We're going to say, do a miyun. Do a miyun on the first sister. People are going to say, what's going on here? Miyun. Miyun is only the Rabbanan. Oh, maybe she was never Mekudeshes. Maybe the Kiddushin is on the second one. And then they'll be very careful. The second one, they'll make her get a get. Are we finished there? Have a wonderful day.